In a quiet little village, there lived a boy named Daniel. His clothes were patched and his sandals were worn thin, but his face always carried a smile. Daniel lived with his widowed mother, who worked hard on the farms to provide them with food. One morning, as Daniel was passing through the village square, a group of children laughed at him. "Look at Daniel's shoes," one boy jeered. "They look like they will fall apart any moment," another added. Daniel simply smiled and said, "Shoes may wear out, but kind hearts never do." Then he walked away, carrying a bundle of firewood to help an old woman nearby. The children stopped laughing for a moment, puzzled by his calmness. But soon, they shrugged and returned to their games. That evening, Daniel's mother noticed his tired face as he entered their small hut. "Daniel," she asked gently, "why do you always go out of your way to help others, even when they laugh at you?" Daniel looked at her and replied, "Mama, you always told me, true wealth is not in your pockets, but in your heart. If I stop being kind, then I will truly be poor." His mother smiled and hugged him tightly. "My son, you understand life better than many grown men." Months later, a terrible drought struck the land. The rivers dried, crops failed, and fear filled the village. People became selfish and stopped helping one another. One morning, Daniel saw a little girl crying by the roadside. She held an empty bowl. "Why are you crying?" Daniel asked kindly. "My mother has no food for us," she sobbed. Daniel opened his small bag and gave her half of the roasted yam he carried. "Here, eat this," he said softly. "But, what about you?" the girl asked. Daniel smiled. "Don't worry about me. Your smile will fill me more than food." The girl's eyes lit up with gratitude. Villagers who saw this whispered among themselves. Some said, "This boy has nothing, yet he still gives." Others shook their heads, "He is foolish. Kindness won't save anyone in a drought." But Daniel continued. Every day, he fetched water from a distant stream for the elderly. When he found wild fruits, he shared them with children. Though his stomach often ached with hunger, he never stopped giving. One day, news spread, the village chief was gravely ill. The healer announced, "He needs a rare herb found deep in the forest. But the path is dangerous, and I fear no one will return if they go." The villagers murmured in fear. No one stepped forward. Then Daniel raised his hand. "I will go," he said firmly. Gasps echoed through the crowd. A man scoffed, "You? The boy with torn clothes. You won't last an hour in that forest." Another added, "He is too weak. We need a strong man for this task." Daniel looked at them and said quietly, "Strength is not always in muscles. Sometimes, it is in the heart. If no one else will go, then I must." His mother's eyes filled with tears. She held his hand. "Daniel, my son, this journey is dangerous. Are you sure?" "Yes, Mama," Daniel replied. "If I do nothing while our chief suffers, what good is my kindness? Please, pray for me." With nothing but courage in his heart, Daniel set out. The forest was dark and filled with sharp thorns. Wild animals howled in the distance. Daniel's feet bled as he walked. At times, he felt weak with hunger. "Maybe they were right," he whispered to himself. "Maybe I am too weak." But then he remembered the faces of the children, the smile of the little girl he had fed, and his mother's words. He clenched his fist and said, "No, I must go on." Hours passed before he finally found the rare herb glowing in the moonlight. Carefully, he plucked it and hurried back to the village, his body trembling but his spirit strong. When he returned, the healer used the herb to prepare medicine for the chief. Days later, the chief opened his eyes and sat up. The whole village rejoiced. The chief called Daniel before everyone. "Daniel," he said in a weak but grateful voice, "when no one else was willing, you risked your life for me. You have shown us that true greatness is not in wealth, but in kindness and courage." The villagers, who once mocked him, now bowed their heads in respect. Children who had laughed at his shoes now followed him, eager to learn from him. Mothers said to their children, "Be like Daniel." Fathers said, "This boy has taught us all a lesson." From that day forward, the village changed. People began sharing again, helping one another. Daniel's example reminded them of the power of love and unity. Years later, Daniel grew into a wise man, respected far and wide. Though he never became the richest man, he became the most honored. People traveled from other villages to hear his wisdom. And whenever they asked him how he had changed an entire village, Daniel would smile and say, "I was poor in things, but rich in love. And love, when shared, multiplies." Kindness may be mocked, but it holds the power to heal, to inspire, and to transform entire communities. What we carry in our hearts will always shine brighter than what we wear on our bodies. If you enjoyed this story, and want more of this, click the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification. Watch next story here.